thank you for meeting me today.
You're welcome.
So, what is your full name and how are we related?
I am Loida Teresa Lisigas Ankrom, and I am your mother, and you are my daughter.
Okay, so where and when were you born?
I was born on June 6, 1964, in Manila, Philippines, and that is so many miles away from here.
Okay, so where did you grow up?
I grew up first of all in Manila
Mm-hmm.
since I was born until I was 8 years old. And then when I was second grade, we moved back to the hometown of my father first, which is in San Miguel Leyte, and then we moved to my mother's hometown, which is Lomas Leyte.
Well, why did you move so many times?
Because that time my father lost his job in Clark Air Base, and then we were struggling financially, so and it's very expensive to live in the city, so my mother decided and my father decided that we just have to go back to the province because it's a simple life, and so that we can cope financially.
Okay. So, um, what did you do growing up? Like, what activities did you do?
Well, when we were growing up, we were we played together as siblings, and then we eat together as a family, as much as we can, even if just simple meals. But in school, I always try to study hard, and then for extracurricular activities in high school, I did archery, I did dance, I also did declamation, and I also played tennis.
Okay, so what is declamation? Can you explain that for me?
Declamation is there is a narrative, like a piece. It's like having a monologue,
Okay.
and then you act out on it, and then you present it to an audience.
Okay. So, what were some family traditions you and your family did growing up?
Well, one of the family traditions we have is we pray the rosary like almost every night, and because we believe that family that prays together stays together. And then one of the family traditions we have is we have a family card game called Rami, and we stay up late at night and play together until midnight and over and beyond, and it's fun having that. And then we play with our neighbors. When we were growing up, we play in the streets, and we play street games like chasing, or called batolata, where we put the can, and then we use our slippers to hit it, and then run, and it was fun growing up that way. And another family tradition we have is we celebrate Christmas together, and New Year's. For Christmas, we have what you call Noche Buena. Like we have a meal at midnight, and then we prepare so many food at the table and share together. And then we exchange gifts at midnight after Mass. And then we also make parol, which is the lanterns, star lanterns that we hang up as decorations. And then one of the traditions we have is we celebrate the town fiesta. It is dedicated to a patron saint, and for our town it's called the Immaculate Conception Feast. And then people will come to our house. Anybody could just come to the house and eat a meal. And they are welcome. We open our house, so we prepare the whole day long. We are serving people.
So why would people come into your house and eat? Like, what was the purpose of that?
Because it's a fiesta, it's a celebration. So you open your house to anybody who wants to greet and who wants to share a meal with you. So it's an open house, actually. And many times my mom is always mad because after the fiesta we lose spoons and forks. Because before it's not disposable. It's real spoons and forks. And some people who come eat, they also steal them.
Oy, them.
They bring it with them.
Ay, sus. Okay, so but you mentioned the rosary earlier. So for those who don't know, what is the rosary? And how do you? What is it?
The rosary is a Catholic devotion to the Blessed Mother, where we use the beads, the rosary beads, and then we pray the different mysteries in the life of Jesus, and then we call on the Blessed Mother to help us, and then we pray like 5 decades, and in every decade there is a Our Father, praying the Our Father, and then 10 Hail Marys, and then 1 Glory Be.
And you mentioned something with parol. So what is that, and how do you make it? You said it was a lantern, right?
Parol?
Parol, yes.
Oh, the parol is made of bamboo sticks, and then you make the bamboo sticks into a heart of a shape of a heart, and then after that you cover it with Japanese paper, like of different colors, and then you glue all the in all sides, and then you put something that is hanging on each side, and then you can hang it up.
Ah, looks really pretty.
And then you can put light inside.
Oh, that's very pretty. Okay, so what is some family history?
Okay, so actually my father and mother come from different hometowns. My father comes from San Miguelete, and they speak the dialect called Waray, and my mother comes from Hilongos Leyte, and they speak a different dialect called Cebuano. And so my father comes from a family of 5. He has 5 siblings, and he is the second in the family. And their father is a mayor. His father was a mayor of the town. So they were a little bit dignified. Their family clan is well known in the community, and then but my father is he likes the wildlife, so instead of finishing college, she only finished high school, and she went to college only for 2 years. While my mother is actually also have a good clan, belongs to a wealthy clan. They are landowners. Most of their land are rice lands and cocoa land, which she inherited from her grandparents. Actually, my mom was an orphan at 4, but my grandfather on the mother's side is also a mayor, but unfortunately they died when she was only 4 years old, so she was orphaned at 4. So only her grandmother raised her up, but she is the youngest of 8, but she graduated as a pharmacist, and she graduated as the top of her class. Then I have 4 siblings, so and I'm the middle child, and my parents raised us all up, and we become all professionals. We have all college degrees, even with the meager income of your grandparents.
So you said that my grandmother was orphaned at 4 years old. So why did her parents die? Like how?
Okay, my grandmother had heart condition, and so she passed away with that sickness. And my grandfather also died of I think a stroke or so.
Okay.
He also passed away at not maybe in their 50s.
So do you have any cousins?
Yes, I have lots of cousins because my mother has 7 siblings, and then 2 of them were not married, but all the rest, the 5, have kids, and so I have about like more than 50 cousins.
Mm-hmm. Do you still keep in contact with some of these cousins today?
Yes, we have a tradition in the family called the Alquino clan reunion. So the Alquino clan reunion is when we gather all the different families on our mother's side, come together, and then we have a reunion song, we have a program, we have a fellowship, and then we we have awards. We come together and celebrate.
Hmm. So, what is your surname? Like your original name?
My name is Loida Teresa Alquino Lesigas.
Lesigas. So Lesigas, Alcuina Lesigas. So Alcuina is from your mother's side,
Yes.
and Lesigas is from your father's side.
Yes.
Okay. So, what is some cultural history about the Philippines?
Well, first of all, the Philippines is a beautiful country. It has 7,000 islands, lots of land, and at the same time, lots of beautiful landmarks to see. It's surrounded by water. It's called Pearl of the Orient Seas, and so it is known for pearls. Okay, Philippine pearls, and um, a lot of oceans and mountains at the same time. And in the Philippines, we have what we call the Filipino wear, which for the women it's called Filipiniana, and for the men it's called the Barong Tagalog. And usually we wear it on very special occasions.
So, can you describe what these look like?
So the Filipiniana for women, it's almost like a long gown, but it has a very beautiful like sleeve that stands up and looks like that you are going to a fashion show, but it's in some and now it is like decorated with beads and pearls, and it's mostly now it is used for special occasions.
What special occasions would you use these for?
Like when there are like awards or conventions or Philippine conventions, or there is the visit, for example, of a dignified person in the country. Most women would wear that, or if they have like big national events. Okay, like maybe a conference of countries, for example, that is being held in the Philippines.
Okay, so is there any more cultural history that you like to share?
We have one of the beautiful history we have is called dances, Philippine dances, and one of the famous dances that we have is called tinikling. There are two people who is holding a long bamboo stick, and then they're gonna make the rhythm like this kind of sound, and then while they're doing that, while they're putting the sticks together, banging it down, and then up, down, and then on the side, the dancer is gonna put her foot inside when the bamboo is open, and then when it closes, she takes off her feet, and then on the rhythm, she's gonna hop from one side to another side.
Ah, okay, that sounds very interesting. So do you do these like only on like these dances on special occasions, or do you do these like every day, or like when do you do these?
Well, the tinikling is a national dance, so like if there are programs, like it's a cultural program where we showcase the different dances, and tinikling is just one of the dances. We also have a dance called a beautiful dance where we put the candle on our head, and then we dance and then balance it and put it on the head and move around without letting the candle on the top of your head fall down. So, but tinikling is one of those beautiful dance because of the rhythm and then because of how it's using the bamboo sticks to show the culture of the Philippines.
Okay, any more cultural stuff you'd like to share?
Okay, and then another cultural thing, another cultural history that we have is we have the symbol of the Philippines, which is the Filipino flag, and it's color red, white, and blue with the sun on it, and the 8 rays of the sun represents the different provinces. But there are 3 major provinces in the Philippines. It is called Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Okay, and then we call them Luz Viminda. Then our family belongs to the Visayas province. Later, it belongs to the Visayas province. Manila, where I was born and where I started to grow up, belongs to the Luzon area. Okay, and then I will not forget that I want you to know that the national fruit in the Philippines is mango.
Oh, mango.
That's why you love the mango shake in the Philippines, because it's very delicious, and it is masarap.
Masarap, which means
very tasty. And then when you were little, when you visited the Philippines for the very first time, I already, as a sign of respect, I taught you how to do the manopo, which is a blessing that you give to the elders. Okay, it looks like this. So you put your hand like that. You take the hand. If you are the grandmother or the aunt or the uncle or an older cousin or even a big sister, you take their hand, the right hand, and then you put it like this, and as a sign of blessing. And whenever you do the manupo, the one whom you are asking for the blessing will put your hand on the forehead. Put your hand on my forehead. This way, like this, and then they will be happy that you are blessing them.
Okay, so is this sign of respect taught to young children?
Yes.
Okay.
We learn that from and if for example you're going out before you go out, and when you come in, that is a sign of respect that to the elders, that instead of hugging, instead of kissing, we were not used to hugging and kissing when we were growing up. It's more like we get the hands of your grandma or grandpa and tell them that we are leaving, and then we have to bless, to do the manupo before we leave the house and when we come back.
Okay.
And even after the rosary, after we say the rosary, we do that as a sign of respect that we're done with our rosary.
Such a nice cultural history. Any more cultural stuff?
Okay, one of the things that we have in the Philippines, I want you to think is the Philippines is known for its farming and for its fishing industries. Because the Philippines is rice producing country. So we produce rice and corn, and then many of our people fish. So we have rice and fish, and that is our staple food. And then in terms of business, we have the famous it started as a shoe mart, like a shoe store, but then it grew to be a big chain link, and it's called now SM Mega Malls. Okay, and one of your favorite place to go is called Jollibee, which is equivalent to a McDonald's here in the United States.
So at Jollibee, do they serve what do they serve? I'm guessing they don't serve the norm of the McDonald's here in America.
Yeah, so in the Philippines, we serve what is famous from Jollibee is called the Chicken Joy. And it is rice with chicken. But they can also serve spaghetti with chicken. Okay, and then they can also serve like a steak, a chicken steak, like and with gravy. Yeah. So, but they also serve now French fries.
Okay.
It's a copycat of the McDonald's.
Okay, so on to something. What were some struggles you grew up with?
Well, I'm a middle child, so I always felt like I had to always cope with the pressure of my siblings ahead of me who are very academically successful when we were in elementary and in high school. So I always felt like I always have to keep up with what they're doing. But there's a part of me that's always insecure, feeling that I am not as good as them. And then, so I was always like feeling insecure inside. That was one of my struggles growing up. But then I was able to overcome it in college. But because we are five, we are five in the family growing up. So my parents had to really try to make both ends meet. So we always have these financial struggles. It's not easy to have 5 kids to feed and also to raise and also to bring to school, especially when we were in college. So, and I always had the pressure of I need to be at the top of the class because that is what my siblings were. And then at 16, I left the province of Leyte and I went to the big city. It's still in the Visayas province, but it is in a big city. So I had to go to college on my own in a dormitory with older kids, older students, and I always felt so alone. I was very shy at the beginning, so it took me some time to find a friend because when I went to the city, I really did not have any friend. I did not know anybody. So I have to go to the city all by myself, adjust to the city life, adjust to a new school, and I had to take the jeepney, which is the mode of transportation, all by myself, and many times I got lost. Yes.
Anything else? Any struggles?
And also, since I'm the middle child, my mother, your grandma always depended on me to be her workforce. So I always do the household chores, and I never get really to have a chance to have fun with my friends or to really have a social life. Because and then I help my mom. She's a pharmacist in the hospital, so I always help her when she's doing overtime, and so no social life for me so much. I think being in the province, we have always experienced, or just in the Philippines is prone to a lot of typhoons. So we have experienced so many disasters, especially typhoons in November. That's your birthday month. But it is December. Those months are typhoon months. So many times we struggle, like we have already the rice ready because we planted it in September, in August, and it's growing up, and then there's the typhoon, and so the farmers will not have a harvest. So it adds up to, instead of having an income, a good income from the rice produced, then many times we lose it because then there was the typhoon. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do, like when, like if there was a bad typhoon, how would you survive that? Like, what would you do to prepare for that?
When we were growing up, we don't have this what we have here that have disaster plan, or um, when we have the typhoon, we just pray that it will not be a signal number three, which is the strongest signal. But we're always scared. I'm always scared that one day our the roof of our house will be blown away. We have experienced like our fruit trees being uprooted, and then our trees is from our house. It goes to the neighbor's house, and and strong wind. So the what we always do, and we always lose electricity after that. And so what we always do is we just huddle together and uh, just just pray that we will be able to survive the storm.
Have you ever been in a three typhoon, in a
Signal number
signal
three.
number three typhoon, and explain what it was, like how, like what you went through?
Yeah, in fact, one time it was not yet signal number three, and my sister wanted to go to the store, Tita Zet, and then she wanted to go to the store. She was riding her bike, and then while then the storm, all of a sudden, the wind has become stronger and stronger and stronger. But she did not stay at the marketplace. She wanted to go home because she was so scared. But she braved the storm. And when she came to the when she was heard her calling my mother's name, because she was so scared, and she was by our gate and like shouting, because and then when she came, she collapsed. That was also the time that we were hiding under the table.
Oh, no.
Because it seems like our house was shaking. That time our house is not yet all concrete. It was just made of bamboo. And so bamboo is not a very strong kind of material for storm. So we're always scared that the coconut tree, the coconut fruits will fall down, and they will, like, it not just one coconut, and it will all fall down on a roof, and it will all fall down on us.
Oh my gosh. This is
Yes.
very scary.
Yeah, many times, very scary. And so there was a time that when we have news that there is a typhoon, your grandfather, Lolo, always decide to take off the fruits in the coconut tree that is overshadowing our roof.
Wow.
Because if the coconut fruits are gonna fall down in our roof, and it's not this kind of roof that we have, that is concrete or stronger materials. They are just made of like grass, not grass, but it's called nipa. Yeah, like a flimsy kind of material for roof. Then surely it will always create holes in a roof.
Well, is there anything else you would like to share for this interview?
Well, one of the things that I really want to do is, if we can spend time in the Philippines, a longer time in the Philippines, this time for a vacation, not because we have to go home because something unfortunate happened, like the death of your grandmother, but I want us to go home because I really miss the Philippines. I really missed speaking in the dialect, and have fun with old friends, and have reunions with family members, which we haven't done in a long time.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming to this interview and having this talk with me. It was really great.
You're welcome, babe. Thank you for being interested in our family history.
Of course. Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. Okay.